Well, would you look at that? We're not even that late. I just said in the chat that I thought it was going to be late, but we're fine. It's like a minute.
We're fine. And besides, Brad, it's a classic. It's a you and me. It's been a while since we've had just the two of us.
It has been. It's good times. How you been?
I've been busy.
Busy.
As you can tell by my hair, I'm a little hectic today. I'm a solo parent right now, currently.
That's always interesting.
always interesting, as you know, always interesting. And
one of those new ones. He's just
one of the new ones. Solo parent with the 8-year-old, easy.
Sure, have some video games and eat pizza or whatever.
Brad, if he would eat pizza, my life would be so much easier.
Mac and cheese? Well, there's got to be something.
Oh, mac and cheese.
Here, just leave me alone for a while.
Quesadillas. Plenty of things I can give him to make me leave me alone. Unfortunately, the 10-month-old, he's at this age right now where if I'm holding him, he like stiff arms me. He's like, get the hell away from me, you stranger. The moment I put him on the ground, he is in hysterics. Like, why would you do that? And he's like climbing up my leg here to get up into my arms. And then the moment I hold him, he's like, ugh. So
just throw a piece of pizza into the crib and he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Probably nothing. I'm sure that the American Association of Pediatrics would definitely say that throwing some pizza in the crib is totally fine.
So, as always, advice given on Kellen and Brad Talk About Stuff is not legally binding.
It's not legally binding.
Should be considered actual advice.
I believe everything on the show should be seen as satirical.
Sure.
Yes.
It's the Tucker Carlson defense where no reasonable person should take him seriously, right? So anything he says is just nonsense. It's fine.
I hate that that's the truth, the reality of it all.
There was a lawsuit, and that's how they won the lawsuit.
It's so fucking awful.
He couldn't possibly be responsible for that because no rational person would take him seriously.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole Bill O'Reilly thing, and that's all of Fox News shit. So, anyways, I bring up the baby to mention we're probably going to do a shorter stream tonight because I almost barely made it tonight because the baby's having such a hard time. So. We'll go until I either can hear him or we'll figure it out from there.
So if the stream ends abruptly, see you next week.
See you next week. It'll be good. Brad, I don't want to say I'm really looking forward to it because it implies that we weren't able to do it and the reason we're not doing it is a bad thing. It's fine. But I was really looking forward to doing what we were planning on doing this week.
Sure.
Because I have some fun ideas and after hearing what you and our friend were going to do as well, I was very, very excited to finally do something we've been talking about for a while. So hopefully next week, all the stars
there. Either way, it'll be next week or it'll be sometime soon. We'll work it out.
It'll be good. It'll be very good. Brad, how are you?
I mean, it's been an interesting day. Let's put it that. It's fine. It's all nothing like horribly life-shattering or anything. It's just people being people. And I don't necessarily deal with drama in the best way sometimes, so it's a thing, but it's fine.
Okay. Well, Brad,
I'm drinking a lot of caffeine and doing a lot of other related things.
Yeah.
And it's great. So it's fine. I'm totally coping in a very healthy, reasonable way. I had some bourbon earlier. And now I'm on to other things. It's fine. It's great.
It's fine. It's great. It's fine.
Everything is fine.
The best thing.
Do you happen to have a question for me, Kellen?
I do. Let me pull a question up for you. 1 second.
Since this is a classic Kellen and Brad Talk About Stuff episode, we should talk about some stuff.
Yes. Brad, now I might have asked you this before, and I think I know the answer. And we'll kind of get into this. Maybe actually, this actually maybe work into some of the drama sort of stuff. Who knows? Okay. Without getting into the drama stuff. Sure. But Brad, should there be limitations on free speech?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, very limited ones, but sure.
Okay. Why? Why should we put limitations? And I'm not trying to be Tucker Carlson here. I'm trying to understand. As it's like We think about free speech, we think about it as a binary. It's not.
It's not. I would say, to me at least, it boils down to the fact that some people cannot be trusted just not to be assholes for the sake of being assholes. And human behavior as it is, reinforcement of behaviors is a pretty major thing.
Yeah.
So if you can cut out even the tiniest bit of the like absolute dick behavior at the top of that scale, you're going to increase human happiness by quite a bit overall over time, just because people aren't dealing with it in their day-to-day life as much, and it sort of fades away through social pressures a lot easier. And unfortunately, people can't do that on their own because there's too many assholes.
Now, Brad, we've got a situation though. Now, I think there's actually less amount of assholes and more people who are, and I'm trying to figure out a different word for it, but I would call them sensitive, right?
Okay.
Like in some ways, there's like one or two assholes. We've already referenced one of them, Tucker Carlson, big asshole.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
And Tucker Carlson, because he's an asshole, sprays his shit on everybody, and then people get really upset about it, and they take him extra seriously, and then we have lawsuits and other shit like that, right? Is it more about silencing the assholes, or is it more about protecting the people who are sensitive to what the assholes are saying?
Yes. I mean, kind of both.
Kind of both.
Unfortunately, it's sort of the like take the warning labels off of everything issue.
Yeah.
Like people are going to take advantage, and people are going to be taken advantage of, right? And how do you cut out both ends of that effectively? It's very tricky without getting into like weirdly authoritarian like things, which has its own set of problems.
Well, I guess I think about it this way. I think it's actually harder to silence an asshole than to make sensitive people, and I'm going to try not to sound like Joe Rogan here, but grow up, right? Like, I think about someone like Tucker Carlson, and I'm like, hey, if I don't listen to Tucker Carlson, his shit doesn't get on me, right? I can cut him out of my life, and his shit never has to touch me, right?
Sure.
There is a lot you can do with ignoring assholes, right? Like it's a lot you can do to sort of say like, hey, I don't want to let this asshole's opinion affect me. And if I hear them, I'm just going to be like, he's just an asshole. I'm not going to take it seriously. But people, because we are still in this really weird world where if it's printed or they're on TV or if they have a platform, suddenly we give them so much credit that we need to fight them, that it's kind of one of those things where it's like, we don't, and again, this is my opinion, where it's like finding ways to subversively deplatform someone by like not paying attention to them, to me, is the easiest way to combat the assholes versus saying, no, the assholes can't talk. What do you think about that?
I think that would be great.
Yes.
But I don't know if it's going to be practical, which is why
it's extremely impractical. Yes.
Like, it's just, there's a lot less assholes. You have to put a lot less work in if you can cut that off, at least some of it.
Some of it
off. You're not going to get all of it, but like some of the worst offenders, you know, it's got a serious trickle down effect into people's brains.
It does.
So it's easier sort of functionally to deal with at that end, I think. But it would be nice if you could just like train people how to think critically about information and that kind of like, that would be a lot better. Like that would be amazing.
Psychologically, wouldn't it be better if suddenly, rather than everyone being so, and again, I'm struggling with sensitive because sensitive seems like I'm critical of people, and I'm not trying to be critical of people, but like we are so incensed by either left-wing people or right-wing people or anybody, like, I can't believe that they're saying this. And it's just like, well, look, you're playing into the show, right? Like the show, the circus wants you to react. Right. They want you to interact. The reason why Rush Limbaugh and Tucker Carlson and the rest of these fucking white, terrible people say these extremely insensitive things is because either it speaks to someone and to their belief, or it goes so against the grain of someone else's reality that they get so incensed and so angry, that they're still getting that sort of energy. And then, we're thinking also about like a trickle down thing. Like you have to have like Rush Limbaugh has a counter on the other side who is going to be countering what he is saying and doing exactly what Rush Limbaugh does, but to his own, or her, their own base, right? Like, so to me, it seems like, yeah, there are fewer assholes, but the fractals of assholes get bigger and bigger as the assholes get more and more money, right? Like, that's the thing about the assholes is the assholes, like, they get a bigger and bigger megaphone. And then it's sort of like a Cold War of who has the biggest megaphone. And then there's all these like literal people with smaller megaphones talking at the people with the big megaphone. Does this metaphor make sense, Brad?
You know how great I am at metaphors. Yeah, no, it's perfect.
It's just a lot of shit, Brad. There's just a lot of shit.
It really is. I think maybe, Kellen, the billionaires might have one thing right. We need to escape from Earth. We need to get out now.
Or, Brad, the easiest way you can escape is to just cut the cord and go live out in the Canadian wilderness and have 10 miles between you and anybody.
True. But then how am I going to order pizza?
Talk to the squirrels. Maybe they do DoorDash and stuff,
I mean, I guess I could like make a pizza oven out.
Oh yeah, Brad, making pizza is actually very easy. I mean, making pizza from scratch, very easy.
The hermit life does call to me, Kellen. Sometimes, gotta say, people are aggravating more and more.
Brad, today I had some fresh tomatoes in the house, and I wanted some tomato soup. So what did I do? I cut the tomatoes up, threw them in a pot, some onions, some garlic, some salt, and some pepper. I made some tomato soup for myself. It took about 10 minutes, right? Super easy. Made some grilled cheese. Could have easily ordered that. Paid $17, $22 plus your $7 DoorDash tip, whatever. Did it in 15 minutes. It was delicious. Ate it with some chips.
Nice.
It was very tasty. Pizza's easy, man. Pizza's one of the easiest things you can do. Brad, you get a question for me?
I got a few here. Here's just a silly one, and I have an example to buy you some time if you want. But is there a scene in a movie or a TV show that just keeps surfacing in your brain, like you can't get rid of it? Because I have several that I just randomly throughout the day, just almost like intrusive thoughts, except it's like movie clips.
Yeah.
And I don't know how else to explain it. Like
sure, let's hear yours, randomly. I guess.
So mine, I'll share my my screen here, and I'll just play it because I found it on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I think I definitely think I know what.
You'll recognize this instantly from The Dark Knight,
mm-hmm.
I'm sure. Oh, I don't think I shared the sound. Hold.
Oh. Amateur, Brad.
Can't have that. Can't have that at all. It's amateur hour around here today, I guess. There we go. This is going to work a lot better.
Can I do for you, Mr. Reese?
You wanted me to do the diligence on the LSI Holdings deal again? Well, I found some irregularities.
Their CEO is in police custody.
No, not with their numbers, with yours. Applied Sciences, whole division of Wayne Enterprises just disappeared overnight. I went down to the archives and I started pulling some old files. Don't tell me you didn't recognize your baby out there pancaking cop cars on the evening news. Now, we got the entire R&D department burning through cash, claiming it's related to cell phones for the Army. What are you building for them now? Rocket ship. I want $10 million a year for the rest of my life.
Let me get this straight. You think that your client, one of the wealthiest, most powerful men in the world, is secretly a vigilante who spends his nights beating criminals to a pulp with his bare hands. And your plan is to blackmail this person? Good luck.
It's so good.
It's just, I can't. It just keeps playing in my head over and over again. His
Well, I got
entire reaction is just like, oh, I fucked up real bad.
I fucked
Okay,
up real bad. I got one for
I'm
you,
out.
Brad.
Okay.
I got one for you. This is a classic in my opinion. Whenever you're ready, I'd love to share my screen. Share that audio.
Guten Tag.
Yes, of course.
Wahrscheinlich mein Herr. Back. Tickets, please.
Boss.
No ticket.
Classic.
I love that scene
so
so much.
It is so good.
No ticket. No
So
ticket,
good.
Brad.
So good.
It's so good.
So yeah, anyway, I don't know why that like popped into my head, but I was just curious if you also had that issue.
Yeah, there's a lot of silly ones that I can think of. Oh gosh, that's almost one where I wish I had more time to think about it too, because like there are ones. There's so many weird. God, my hair. This is what happens when you don't sleep at night. There's so many weird shows and movies that I've seen that just like it'll just come up and I'm like, why? Like example. In the Flintstones, and this happens all the time. Like in the Flintstones, I don't know, Brad, you've watched the Flintstones, right?
Sure.
Okay. Some people haven't. Flintstones, they're using the garbage disposal or they're making the phone call, and then they pull back like a curtain and it's a dinosaur. And like I just love the fact that it's always a dinosaur, and then it looks at the camera and says, it's a living. Like that goes through my head probably 3 or 4 times a day, where I'm just like, anytime I'm like in my job or doing anything and I have this moment of like ennui to be like, the fuck is my life? I'm like, I'm the dinosaur in Flintstones. Being like, it's a living.
Yeah, the other one that happens a lot to me when I just see someone who I really think could use a few sessions with a psychologist is the line from So I Married an Axe Murderer. 2 words, therapy. Just walks away. It doesn't make any sense, but it's like it's just in my brain.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, that's a good one, Brad. That's a very, very good one. Brad, I don't know this about you. I think so. Brad, do you do much reading? Are you a reader?
I read quite a bit, yeah.
Great. Brad, what's the most interesting thing that you've read in the last month? Could be an article. Could be like a thread or a book or something else like that. Something that you were like, oh gosh, this was really interesting.
Sheesh, in the last month. I mean, I reread Explaining Humans, but I don't think that would count.
Well, let's expand it to a year, Brad. What's the last in the last?
So
year?
Probably Explaining Humans. Then.
Explaining Humans. So why Explaining Humans?
Well, it's a book by an autistic ADHD haver.
Yeah.
Basically, as a manual to humanity, using like weird, disconnected metaphors, which you'd think I wouldn't be in, but for some reason, explaining social dynamics using like protein chains, like just connected for some reason with me, and it helped me understand a lot about things. It's very, very interesting to have someone put into words things that I had already thought, but like I actually had like thought it through to a conclusion and figured out a good way to explain it, where I was just kind of all over the place with it. Very, very helpful and interesting.
Interesting.
And if you haven't read it, I think you would find it interesting too.
I have not read it, but my brother, who is ADHD, has read it, and he really, really loves it. He talks about the book all the time.
So good.
Yeah. Is there a book, Brad, that you recommend to people all the time? Is there a book you've ever read where you're like, if someone says, "Oh, what book should I read?" You're like, "You should read this book. Everybody should read this book."
Probably the one that I've recommended the most. I don't even know if you could get it in print. You can get it digitally, I think, still. It's called The Heretic by Jason Chapman. It's I think it came out in like, I want to say 2001, early 2000s-ish, I think. And it's basically a movie or a book about a hacker that's an ex-FBI agent, but it's like a weird near future virtual reality. It's sort of a Snow Crash kind of deal. It's like a weird, fanciful future, and it's I don't even know if I would say that it's well written, but it's so damn. It's like the movie Hackers, essentially. I wouldn't call it a good book.
Sure,
but it is an amazingly entertaining book, in my opinion.
Who is the author of The Heretic?
Jason Chapman.
I've never heard of this book before.
Most people have not. I don't think it's been in print for a while. It didn't seem to do very well. It was released digitally and in print at the same time, I think. It was a very strange sort of marketing thing.
Interesting.
But it's so dumb in exactly the right ways to be entertaining. But then also, like, it's weirdly clever in other, like, it's, I don't. So, like, comparing it in book form to the movie Hackers, like, feels right in my brain. Like, because that's a dumb movie by any measure, but it's amazing.
I'm a little upset that he goes by Jason K. Chapman. I'm like,
okay, yeah. There's probably already a Jason Chapman that's an author or something. I needed.
Yeah, but that's also like a Brian K. Vaughan sort of, you know. Yeah. Interesting.
How about you? Did you read anything interesting lately?
Golly. I reread Three Body Problem last year. That book is so good. Have you ever read Three Body Problem?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, Brad.
All right.
Do you remember the first time you read Dune?
I remember reading Dune. I don't remember much. That would have been in high school, so I don't remember much of that.
See, I remember the first time I read Dune, and it was like, man, I've never read anything else like this. Three Body Problem is like the first time I read Dune and the first time I read the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It is so redefining of like what sci-fi genre is, and it's about humans' first contact with aliens. But it is a Chinese author, and it's really interesting because the book starts all about the Cultural Revolution in China, and you're like, this is a sci-fi novel because it's like chapters upon chapters upon chapters, all just give you context for like, this is what happened during the Cultural Revolution, and this is where China is now because of the Cultural Revolution. And you're like, okay. And then so it cuts back and forth between like, here's the Cultural Revolution happening with these scientists, and then here is this other scientist who gets invited to be a part of this like VR kind of game called the Three Body Problem, which is a real life mathematical equation that like tends to like fuck people up.
Sure.
And without spoiling things, the Three Body Problem is in fact it is a way for a very ancient, very far off civilization to contact us. And the book is all about essentially everything that leads up to First Contact, and then there is another book that's all about everything that happens after that.
Okay.
It is fascinating.
It's on my list now. So
it's great. It's great. It is an enormous novel. It's like a 400, 500 page novel. It is excellent. The translation's amazing. Amazon is trying to develop it, but it is one of those shows where I'm like, I don't know how they're going to make this a TV show. It's great to read, but I just think because culturally, because we as Americans were like, China bad. Like, you have to kind of be like, actually, no, China not bad. China interesting. And you have to really be invested in what that cultural revolution was, especially for scientists. Because what happens is the Cultural Revolution, you start to learn about how, like, essentially they were saying these are approved sciences and these are unapproved sciences. If you were a physicist, they're like, sorry, you can't really be a physicist because it doesn't really help the culture. And so there were all of these physicists who were like, well, fuck, we're going to like, what's going to happen? And then we were like sent to the labor camps. And it's very, very interesting about what happens when you lose faith in humanity. And then a voice in the darkness reaches out and says, I'll be your friend. It's very, very interesting.
That sounds extremely good. And
it's great. It's very, very good. Yeah, I like that. Golly, I'm just looking at my bookshelf. What's another book that I tend to make people read?
As soon as you ask that question, every book that I've ever read erased itself from my
book. Right? Yeah. Do you have any intrusive thoughts? Well, not right now in the moment.
No, now that you ask, no, I don't.
Yeah, like if you've never read The Road, you should read The Road. Like I think,
a long time, but
like I think Cormac McCarthy is one of those authors where it's like people should like. It's the same thing with. There's plenty of like Hemingway's as an author. I think people should read. Movable Feast or Sun Also Rises are two of my favorite Hemingway novels. To Kill a Mockingbird is one of those books that I think everyone should read. It's so good. I don't know. Yeah, there's so many good books.
There are a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you want to keep going? Do you want to cut it off in a little bit? I have a silly video we could watch.
Let's watch a silly video and then we'll say goodbye. Because I've heard him a couple of times and he's not like I give him about 10 minutes and then it gets a little and then I'm like if he goes past 10 minutes then I'm like okay. We'll watch a silly video. We'll say goodbye to people. I'm so glad we met, but this baby, I don't want him to get too upset. He's just a baby, everyone.
Yeah, we don't want an upset baby. That would be no good.
No.
So thinking about the clip that I showed earlier, I remembered that this exists and I have to share it with more people because it is so good. You may have seen this already, I'm sure.
Who is the one man to have defeated me in freestyle? Only me. Yes, only you. Would anyone else care to challenge me? That's what I thought. DJ, drop a beat. That's right, Gotham. On your feet, to the lyrical flow of Bane. My Bane, yes, that's my name. When you hear the name Bane, I guarantee the pain. I'm coming after you, Bruce Wayne. I'm stronger, smarter, clinically insane. I'm Bane, that's my name. Bruce Wayne is the Batman, and totally the same. I broke his back, Mortal Kombat smack. Then I cracked my 28 Krug champagne. Who likes hip-hop? I heard Gotham City was all right. I'm Bane, yes, it's a shame. And a clear martial law, and you all complain. I laugh when you ask why I wear the mask. I'll explain. It's because I'm Bane, yes. the name. You say it to him. What's the name becomes a name. Of course. Something my plan lacks gain. You say it to my face, I'll crash your plane. When I say no, you say survival. No. No. When I say no, you say survival.
You suck, Dave.
Who said that? Hey. Stop the music. Kill them all.
That I had not seen, Brad. I had not seen.
I
that.
admit that's just a chunk. There's like I think it's 11 or 12 minutes long. They did a whole thing, a whole bunch of different scenes with Bane and just replaced the audio with ridiculous things like that, and it's so good.
That is very. I mean, Brad, did you have any problems with The Dark Knight Rises? People tend to really poo-poo on that movie.
I mean, the end is weird.
It's weird,
but like mostly, I thought it was okay.
yeah.
You know, I like The Dark Knight a lot better, but
Yes.
like seems like everybody does. That's not a contentious issue for most people. But I thought it was fine.
I had heard talk about what Nolan wanted to do with the third movie before Heath Ledger passed, and this whole idea of like it would be Joker and Penguin and Riddler and essentially all of them fighting over Gotham. That would have been interesting. And like the studio really kind of said, well, since we can't really do that, we're not going to recast, like do something else. And it's like, all right, I guess I got to do Bane and do something else like that. But like Nolan was really resisting this whole idea of like Talia and everything else like that. So
there's definitely like more disjointed than the other ones, but like it had fun stuff in it. It's all right. And it created that video, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Well, this was a nice, short, little, sweet one.
This is all we need to do. Just a short, sweet little one. It's all good. Brad, I always love being able to connect with you. We will continue talking throughout the week. I hope that the drama in your life settles as much as it can.
It'll all be fine. It's just one of those human things that I have to deal with occasionally. People, people. That's it. I have to deal with people occasionally. It's just awkward.
It is awkward. Well, hopefully this 30-minute show has been an escape for you and for the audience. And, we'll be back here next week. And hopefully there will not be drama or babies crying.
Hopefully not any of those things. There might be fun things.
Many. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, everyone.
Bye.